College football is coming back, and when it does, Cole Hutson will be playing for the Texas Longhorns. The only reason why that's noteworthy is because he's technically not supposed to be in college anymore. He entered the NFL draft, did not get drafted, and then attended minicamp with both the Browns and the Cowboys. When that did not work out the way he had apparently planned it, he petitioned to get back into college. The NCAA has their new 5-for-5 rule, and with that, the athletes who technically weren't supposed to be grandfathered in, they went through some legal proceedings so that they could actually be included. And Cole Hutson is one of those athletes who will be back on campus competing. The real question is, first, how does an athlete go pro and then come back to college? And two, if this is what we're doing, what is actually happening out there in college football? For a long time, people have thought of college football essentially as professional athletics, but disguised in a college format. And now that we have NIL, I don't even know if we're really calling it that anymore, because when you add salary caps and money exchanging hands, and there's a whole bunch of particulars about how the money's going to get from here to there, long story short, people are getting paid. So in the athlete like Cole Hutson's case, and for that matter many others, going pro is no longer all that attractive. He completed 4 years, entered the draft, and thought that it was going to work out. And considering the NFL has 7 rounds, it did work out for many people, but it didn't quite go the way he wanted it to. And he had the opportunity to get back on campus. There's the conversation about all the athletes who are coming out of the high school ranks and the opportunities for them to get recruited. That is a piece of what's going on here, but it's not the only one. Because the next thing is, if we're allowing professionals, because if you attend an NFL minicamp, you now have experiences that certainly the kids coming out of high school don't have, and even the guys who've only been working out on campus, albeit in the SEC, where they have all the resources and all the privileges that a college football team might have, including NIL money. Yes, even for those athletes, it's technically unfair for them to have to go up against pros. Cole Hutson and anybody like him would qualify as a pro by any real designation. The college football landscape, the real conversation here, is that nobody really knows what we're doing. The idea that we needed to move to NIL, I know why NIL had to happen. It had to happen, even if it was never going to be a clean move, a clean transition. And it does feel like the NCAA has kind of given up. Like, they're at a point where they're just kind of almost letting people just do whatever, where no matter what rule they put in place, it doesn't really feel like these rules are rules at all, because you can just get into some form of legal proceeding where essentially they're going to back down and let you do what you want. That's more or less what happened here. They had a rule, said it applies to only a certain group of athletes depending on your specific class and designation. Then you had guys who left campus, and when they did, things weren't going the way they wanted, and they said, we're coming back. They couldn't just come back. They had to go through the whole legal thing. College football has now become professionalized in a way that doesn't actually mirror professional sports. I know we're trying to move towards some form of contracts. The transfer portal might start to calm down. There's a lot of people who go in there and don't come back out. But at the end of the day, the University of Texas is where you want to end up. If you go to compete for the Texas Longhorns in football, and then you want to hit the transfer portal, where do you really plan on going? When it comes to schools that have infrastructure, resources, the facilities, everything, the legacy, the history, the Texas Longhorns are about as good as it gets. There's almost nowhere else you're really going to go. Now, maybe you're not getting on the field or getting a bunch of playtime. That's not Cole Hutson's issue. And this story is way bigger than him. But if you're new here, I want to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. My name is Desirez. And if you really want an unfiltered perspective on college football, type that allows you to see it clearly, then you are in the right place. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section, because I try to read them all. He played, and for that matter, even started, I believe, 23 games. So he's coming back as a player. A team that has transfer All-Americans. They got a lineman from Western Kentucky. I believe they had one of the top rushing offenses in the entire NCAA last year. But if college football is going to look like this, fans are going to watch. I don't think that's the real debate. But what are we really watching? College football is supposed to represent student athletes. Is that really what we're doing anymore? You have so many narratives that if you keep your ear to the ground, you can hear these players talking, where some of them really aren't even taking classes like that anymore. At one point, college football was kind of as the name suggests, but it kind of feels like we have football teams that are housed out of a university now. And the amount of money that's flowing, the University of Texas, they're one of the schools that actually has money. They generate real income. Like the fans down there, they love their football. That is not up for debate. There's a whole bunch of other schools trying to keep up with the Joneses. Like, if again, no shade, but just being honest, they don't really have the money like that. Because they might make revenue, but that revenue did not outpace all their expenses. You have the athletic department bill that runs up in a whole bunch of other areas and doesn't generate income to balance it. And they try to use football money to offset it. And you could say we could just be a football factory. You could say that, but the whole college athletics structure would crumble if you went down that path. The idea of students actually going to class and APRs. If we're going to say the quiet part out loud, everybody kind of knows that the football programs normally aren't leading the APRs for any of these FBS programs. Like for the athletic department, they're not the ones driving that. College sports, college football has been, some would say, in a state of crisis. Some people say, why do we even need the NCAA? But the truth is, the NCAA actually does their job incredibly well for most of their member institutions. The problem is there's this one small exception: FBS football, specifically Power Conference football. That's where Cole Hutson came from, and that exception made his life at the University of Texas much more than just being a student, because any athlete who gets to play football on that stage really is, like, the experience of it does mimic a lot of what we expect professional sport to be. I'm not saying that NIL didn't need to happen. I'm not saying the athletes shouldn't get paid. But how we do it, the structure in which it plays itself out, and the implications that has on everybody else in the machine. Because when people can go to the pro level and then come back, even when the rules say that you are done, do we even have rules anymore? The question is, who's running college football? When we say running it, who's actually running it? Because, yeah, they're figureheads. They're people with names and titles. It just doesn't feel like anything they're doing has any real impact on what's going to eventually make its way to the field. And if money is what we're doing, everybody's not making it. Remember, Texas might be, but if you go looking at the dollars, how it exchanges hands, some of these conferences, came this far. I don't really know how to say this without it coming out harsh. I'm just going to go out and say it. Conferences like the Mid-American Conference, shout out to Deluxe and some of the coverage he's done on that conference. But no, the Mid-American Conference could very easily drop down to FCS and nobody would miss them. Financially, we could probably argue that a full-ride scholarship, especially for an out-of-state student to one of their programs, is likely worth more than any value they can really contribute by playing football on the campus. They're in FBS, I guess. We even had midweek action. That's what I guess we're calling it. But college football, the expanse of it, because what we're doing in D3, what we're doing in D2, and even at the FCS level isn't this. And if you're in the FBS and not at the Power Conference level, specifically the SEC and the Big Ten, ACC to a lesser degree on the TV deal, I think they know that. Big 12, they're out here trying. Shout out to y'all, but using Texas and losing Oklahoma, that was a major hit. When we think about it, like college football, the branding, we're really thinking about what the University of Texas is doing. So I don't blame any athlete like a Cole Hutson for going back if there's a way for them to get back on campus and continue in their career. But when are you actually done? Like, what is the role of college football? Because student athletes and everything the NCAA says on their mission statement about Division I, that doesn't really feel like that's what we're doing at that level of college athletics. I could take it to a whole bunch of sports, even at the University of Texas. I could take it to a bunch of football teams, not in the SEC, where all of that stuff in their mission statement, how cute it actually is, it would apply. But it feels like, the Bible says it this way: the love of money is the root of all evil. Not money, but the love of it. That will start to lead you down some places to make some decisions that really aren't the best in the long run. So depending on whom you ask, if you're one of the athletes who gets to come back to campus after exhausting your eligibility, and maybe you actually entered the draft, didn't get drafted, and you get to come back, then this is all a great deal for you. If you're somebody getting a big NIL deal, maybe it's a big deal for you as well. Like maybe it's working out just fine. If you are somebody playing for another team who has to go up with somebody like the Texas Longhorns, it was already going to be a long day unless you got a whole lot of talent and some really good recruiting to be able to stop that program. But when they got athletes who can go to NFL minicamp and come back, I ain't finna lie to you. I would be tight because this is no longer college football. Certainly not college football for your grandfather or your father. This is a brand new breed, a whole new generation. And the real question is what is going to happen to this generation of football players as they move forward in their lives? Because it does seem like some of them don't really want to move on from college football at all. If you actually made it all the way to the end of this video, I do have to admit that thank you doesn't do it justice anymore because you are a real one. If you have any reaction at all to something that I said, I do invite you to sound off in the comments. I don't always get to respond to everything, but I do the absolute best that I can to read them all. If nothing else, and you really just want to see more content like this, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.